How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm not at home. I came from Kiev. I really want to go home, but I think it won't be safe for my daughter, so we will stay somewhere here and just wait.
What do you miss most about home?
My ordinary life, you know, just to drink some coffee in my favorite cafe and to bring my daughter to the kindergarten, just normal stuff. It will never be the same as it was.
I would assume not. Jesus Christ.
Every time the siren is here, I just tell her that it's fireworks. So we need to hide because she's like 5 years old, and
that makes sense.
I don't want for her to have a trauma.
Just fireworks.
Yeah, for
just
real.
Fireworks, loud fireworks.
Yeah. We never know in what time Russia will send missiles or rockets to our territory. Air attack.
I feel like that's probably one of the most unnerving things about it, is to just like not even really know what's going to happen. It's the uncertainty. I think that's what would really fuck me up a lot about it, is like knowing that like it could just happen out of nowhere.
Could be launched on Lviv. So now we need to go to find the nearest shelter just to hide.
We're going to a shelter now in the press building. That was genuinely pretty fucking terrifying.
Each time it's really scary, especially at the night, then you want to try to chill and sleep.
Yeah, whenever the shit starts blowing randomly, man. How about Andrew go there? Just flew over there.
It is a special time for me, for my city, for my country. Last month,
I would say
3 times Russia aggressor attack city Lviv.
Officials in the western Ukrainian city of Lviv say Russian missile strikes hit a fuel storage facility on the outskirts of the city.
We could see dark plumes of smoke rising into the sky.
For me,
we've got to skip ahead, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Twitch doesn't want us to show you know, news anymore. They care more about advertising money, unfortunately.
Слава Україні! Сюди, оцей. Супер. 20% цього прибутку йде на фонд «Повертайся живим». Так, якщо маєте можливість, можете на фонд «Повертайся живим» скинути любу, бо тут нема праці. Можете опозоритись.
How did it feel to do that?
Трошки на душі стало легше. Я надію, кількість цих куль поросте настоящі. Ми побачимо мавзолей або десь закопаний під бетоном. На даний момент ми займаємося гуманітарною допомогою. Якщо мене армія призве, звичайно, я готовий. Ми гуманітарно допомагаємо. Там фонд часів «Повернись живим», також порахуємо кошти.
I guess for, you know, a lot of people, they can't be on the front or whatever. But this is their way of donating, this is their way of helping. Everyone is doing something. It's really interesting to see. It's like a community effort, you know, across the whole country.
God damn.
So it was my place where I usually walked after Russia.
Bro, like that's a shithole. Like oh my god.
In Ukraine, this place closed for climbing, but it opened for taking refugees here.
Wow.
We are still helping them each day. Ще хочеш? Do you want some question for him?
Yeah, sure. What's your name?
Як тебе звати?
Київ.
Do you like to climb?
Покуси, потом уехай и сюда приехай.
What's your favorite animal?
Mason.
Mason? So you have a cat called Mason.
Oh,
is that Mason? Mason. All right. Mason's a little bit camera shy. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah, he said fuck that.
Я хотел маме купить машину, когда вырасту.
He want to buy a car for his mother and to himself.
That's nice.
Жил будет, и я буду сам ехать.
Меня зовут Ольга, мы приехали из города Бахмут, Донецкой области. Мы с вечера собрались и уже до крайней точки Львов. Добраться в ближайшее время, дальше посмотрим, будет видно как.
Would you prefer to return home, or would you like to immigrate into a different country?
Хотелось бы вернуться домой. Естественно, мы скучаем по дому. Как развернутся все эти события, и будет ли дома, будет ли куда возвращаться, и если действительно будут какие-то сложные ситуации.
That's crazy, like that they gotta worry if their house is, if they're gonna come back and their house is gonna get blown up, man. Like that's just, it's just nuts. Like that's the thing. Like it really is. It's absolutely fucking nuts. Like I just, it's stressful. Like so much to think about that, and like. I guess one thing it really shows is that like even during that, like most of the people, and like this is what happens like in any war. It doesn't really matter like if it's like the fucking like whichever one. Most of the people that are involved are just like civilians. Like they don't give a fuck. They don't really have a strong political leaning one way or another. They just want to be left alone, and that's it. And a lot of people forget about that, and they think like everybody in the country like supports this stuff or, you know, really cares about it or whatever. Most people don't give a shit. They just want to be left alone.
Возврата домой. Какое-то время было спокойно в городе, потом какой-то день в центр города прилетело сразу несколько ракет. Мне стало страшно за ребенка, за себя, семью, и мы приняли решение выехать.
How do you explain what's going on to your son?
Когда это было далеко от нас, и в комендантский час, и так далее, он видел в городе военных и военную технику. Он задавал вопросы, почему они здесь, не внедрялась в подробности, не вникала.
Do you like staying here?
Мне тут нравится, я тут только на канате таком, на матче бегал, прыгал.
Well, I'm glad you were able to bring Mason with you.
Обязательно в любом случае мы бы не оставили его дома без присмотра. Он полноценный член нашей семьи.
The little cat. That's nice. They brought their little cat with them. Jesus, man.
Out of the more than 4 million people who fled Ukraine, over 2.3 million are now in Poland.
14. Yeah, 14. I came off Kryvyi Rih, it's the center of Ukraine. My little brother and my aunt.
He's just trying to fucking forget about this shit, man. Like he's just trying to do like fucking get me out of here. I just want to play my fucking game. Leave me alone with this fucking bullshit. Like I just want a game. I want to just relax. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. Yeah, it's that simple.
Brother and my aunt came to Peremyshel with me, and I like very scared because my dad is in Kryvyi Rih. Yeah, it's scary situation, very scary situation.
What do you miss most about home?
My friends, my 4 best friends in Hungary, in Slovenia, in Ireland. And I haven't connected with them.
If you had to pick one friend that you wished you were with right now, which friend would it be?
I think like Dima. In my school, he sit back for me. He is quite funny, and he's like he can
he's a good boy.
Smile me. All of them. I want to hear his jokes of teachers and like I want to usual life.
Yeah, I'll bet. Bro, like living in there would suck so much dick. Like I couldn't imagine that. That would just be awful. God damn.
Декілька днів тому приходило по 6 потягів, і можна легко порахувати, що кожний потяг вміщував по 3 тисячі осіб.
What do you think is the biggest challenge that refugees face whenever they get from Ukraine to Poland?
Така, що люди приїжджають в чужу державу і не можуть зорієнтуватися. Ну, кожен боїться за своє життя, за своїх дітей. Дуже дивно те, що, наприклад, українці в Російській Федерації живе коло більше 5 мільйонів осіб всебічного освітлення цієї війни, і тому рахують, що російська армія робить.
That's one of the things, right? Is like a lot of people that live in Russia, they just, you know, like most people, even here in America, the way that they get their information is that move the mouse, please. I can't move the mouse because if I accidentally show something bad, I could get in trouble with Twitch. So I have to look at the time here, and by doing that, I have to show what the time is. You understand? Like I understand. Like, yeah, it's literally that simple. Okay, here we go. And anyway, yeah, there's a lot of people that just simply don't understand that, man. Like, yeah, they just simply don't understand that. And I just like, I think a lot of people don't really understand how bad it is in the countries that have this propaganda. Because there's a lot of these countries that have massive amounts of propaganda, and they just, they're like, these people have no idea what's really going on. It's the same thing as like, you ever listen to somebody who only watches mainstream media from one source or another, and this person literally has a completely different perspective on the entire world than like what's really happening? Like, you guys have had that happen? Yeah, like in the USA. No, and it happens in the USA. But like in the USA, I feel like it's just so disingenuous to even compare like USA propaganda to like Russian propaganda. Like it's just like anybody that really thinks that there's even a comparison there is just like super fucking privileged. You spent too much time on Reddit. Like, it's a completely different universe over there. It's so different. Yeah, I hate people that say that. It's just so stupid, man. Yeah, or yeah, it's same thing with China too. Here we go.
In Russia, Vladimir Putin's approval rating is soaring despite his disastrous invasion of Ukraine.
Well, of course it is. I'm going to skip ahead again. Soaring? Yeah, well, of course it is. Because, well, here's why his popularity is so high. It's because they're telling the people over there that they have to have the war and that they're winning. So it's not the Russian people's fault that they're being told a lie and they believe it. Like, I mean, really, like, it's not complicated at all. Like, yeah, it's not their fault. It's like World War II. Yeah. What happens in all countries, like Bush with Iraq? Yes. I know, like, there's a lot of people that, like, that they have, like, this fixation on trying to be like, what about America? What about America? Like, I'm on your side. Like, you don't need to, like, point this out. You're not smart or, like, fucking insightful because you know and you acknowledge that America does the same stuff. Like, I know this. We all know this. Like, this, true. Like, yes, but we're not talking about that right now. What the fuck does that have to do with it for any reason? And so anyway, yes, what I'm really trying to get at here is this. Sorry, I keep getting distracted and it's fucking, like, I read a comment, it's just fucking stupid, it pisses me off, and so I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. Anyway, so what I'm really trying to get at here is that a lot of these different videos and a lot of these different things, like, they don't see that in Russia. They don't see it in China. They don't see these things. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, you don't have freedom of speech over there. You can't just go out and say whatever you want. You can't, there's no freedom of the press. There's no, this doesn't happen. It's just, like, these people, they think that they're winning. They think that it's a good thing. And the same thing happened, like my dad told me, the same thing happened with Vietnam here in America. Is it like everybody in America thought it was great until I think there was some point where people started to realize that it wasn't good. Yeah, like, this stuff happened here too. It's propaganda. And it's not the people's fault. Well, how's it their fault? They're just, like, they're listening to their news media and, you know, they don't have, there's no other reason for them to not believe this. There's, like, they're not, like, everything they're hearing is like, oh, this is really bad. We've got to deal with this. And then suddenly, you know, that's certainly not the case. But they're being led down a dark path. That's what it is. Say that you don't support current thing and you'll be canceled in 5 seconds. There's a lot of things that, like, there's a lot of things that I have, like, explicitly not supported or promoted. Like for COVID, like, I never pushed, like, people should do vaccines or people should do, like, all this stuff for COVID. I never talked about it because I said, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I have no idea. I think influencers shouldn't talk about this because they're not doctors. And I just don't talk about it because I don't understand it. And that's it. So I've said that before. I've said many things that people disagree with many times. Yeah, I've said this multiple times. I think that people should try to talk about things that they know about, or at least they think they know about. But a lot of people, you're right. They do want to just say whatever's popular, and that's about it. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a difference between being canceled and being assassinated for your views. I think that's also a good point, too. Yeah, it's like, as bad as cancel stuff is, and, like, you know, you have, I talked about this, like, literally 5 minutes ago, right? Like, being canceled on, like, social media. Like, I think that's bad and it shouldn't happen, too, for sure. But, like, I think, again, it's just, like, you're comparing that with, like, literally the government just coming to your house and removing you from your house, and then nobody hears from you again. Like, this is just not this. Like, getting banned on Twitter is bad. And like, yeah, Twitter's really important, and like, yeah, I shouldn't have that happen. But like, that's a lot worse. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot fucking worse. Absolutely. Let's see here. The White House had a specific meeting with influencers to tell them how to talk about Ukraine. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I saw that. Yeah. Well, let's finish the video and then I'll talk about that stuff. Okay, guys? Let's finish the video.
Quoted once as saying Ukraine's purpose was to, quote, lead the white races of the world.
To Russian President Vladimir Putin, their far-right politics a justification to claim that Ukraine needs to be denazified.
I've heard that they're not there. Too. They're fighting right now in Mariupol. You know, they've been basically defending that city along with the Ukraine Marines. But they make out like that's everybody and everybody believes in it, sort of thing. There's a real problem where people either like just deny it exists or they emphasize on it too much. Yeah. And really, they don't have much influence, like, politically. So, you know, when Russia was saying they're a Nazi junta, it's like, well, then they're the worst one that ever happened, because Zelensky, who was a Jew, some of his family died in the Holocaust under the Nazis, he got 73% of the vote in a country of 44 million. I think what you have to do is look at Russia. So Russia has a much more serious Nazi problem. And there's a lot of evidence that they're connected to the FSB, Russian internal intelligence.
I think this is some bullshit. I do. I think it's like this. Every country has Nazis in it. Like, there's Nazis here in America. There's Nazis in Canada. There's Nazis in Russia. There's Nazis in Ukraine. It's just, that's the way it is. Like, that's the way it fucking is. It's just like, there's people that think clown shit everywhere. There's people that are white supremacists, black supremacists, people that are part of these like crazy fucking cults, like people that believe in Scientology. Like, this is not a reason to bomb a country.
Services. So they have a problem. Simon.
Should we go to a shelter or something?
Yeah, we should probably go to a shelter, yeah.
God damn.
If we want to get a look at the other side of things that isn't reported as much, we could go and talk to the anarchists. They're doing aid. They're taking stuff all over Ukraine. They're not making a big noise about it, but they're doing it not just to anarchist groups, to any soldiers that need it, you know. So that's another part of this thing.
Anarchists run aid and live Operation
Before the war, I
Solidarity.
worked as a tour guide in a history museum. 10-20 kilometers from Bucha, Irpin areas, I used to cycle in that areas a lot. It's fucked up. If Russians occupy it, they will kill off every politically active person, no matter of his political views. The side which really needs denazifying right now, in my opinion, is Russia.
Why are, Nazis fighting with leftists on the front lines?
If the fight is lost, there will be no one left. No right wing, left wing.
That's true.
Will be eradicated.
That's a good point.
Ну і власне в них достатньо ресурсів для того, щоб розповсюджувати цю фейкову інформацію на весь світ, і в тому числі є багато західних медіа, які прислуховуються до Росії.
The Kremlin views Tucker Carlson's commentary as, quote, essential in its wartime messaging strategy. That is according to a leaked 12-page memo from a Russian government agency to the Russian media.
What is this really about? Why do I hate Putin so much? Has Putin ever called me a racist? Did he manufacture a worldwide pandemic that wrecked my business and kept me indoors for 2 years? Is he trying to snuff out Christianity? Does he eat dogs? Is he making fentanyl? These are fair questions, and the answer to all of them is no. Vladimir Putin didn't do any of that.
Putin is doing the right thing. He's taken out the Syrian mafia.
It's not an invasion.
And this is the thing, is like these people, like I feel bad for these people in a way, because like they're like, a lot of these people, in my opinion, are just dumb as fuck. Like, they're just stupid. I mean, like, and they just get led down this path of bullshit that they believe in because they feel like they've been fucking disenfranchised in the world. This is what happens, right? It's like the Tucker Carlson, yeah, I think that's stupid too. I don't know why you would say that either. It's just weird. And, but it just doesn't make sense. Speaking of truth, free speech is key or become Russia. I'm not saying that they should be put in jail for this, right? Of course not. Yeah, there's stupid people everywhere. Yeah, dumb people are everywhere. I feel bad for these people because they're just so disconnected from reality. And like, you expect that, like, if you're in this position and you're thinking like this, the rest of your life is probably pretty fucked up. Because one thing that I've learned is that where there's smoke, there's fire. And people that have the propensity to believe really dumb stuff like this, it's just, there's always going to be more and more and more of it. They just keep doing it. Out of context? Oh, I don't know if it's out of context or not. I think that, like, again, I've always preferred, and this is what I always like, I like just matter-of-fact speaking. And if people are not doing matter-of-fact speaking, they're trying to use, like, this, like, weird, like, way of explaining things and, like, out of context. Like, well, let's say it is, this is the thing, and this is what people get caught up on. It's like, yes, I'm sure that there have been instances of people interpreting things that Putin has done and making them even worse than they actually are to push more media and push more outrage and push more hysteria. Like, this probably has happened. I can pretty much guarantee it because they do that with everything. Sure, but, like, that doesn't mean that the problem doesn't exist fundamentally.
Easily fake a war. Ну це просто весело, це типу як будь-який інший фейк ньюс.
So what are the most important items that you need right now?
Helmets and bulletproof vests, certain kinds of medicine.
Потім речі, які дозволяють там не замерзнути, типу спальників, одягу, карематів і так далі. Теж те, що може знадобитися як цивільним, так і на фронті.
Who cares? This is a great video. I'm actually really impressed to see this. You know, Andrew has been trying to do a bit more of a pivot, right? I think it's kind of obvious to see, you know, him doing more of this kind of content, and I think it's great. I do. I really think it's a good thing. And, you know, huge fucking shout out to Andrew and Channel 5 and, like, their whole team, right? It's not just Andrew that does this. It's like a whole team of people that does all this stuff, and that's absolutely incredible, guys. I'm going to link the video to you all. It came out yesterday, so give it a like, give it a thumbs up, maybe help it trend, and do whatever you can. You know, we've got a lot of people here. We can do what we can. And what he does best is humanize people. Yeah, I think that's a really good way to say it. So, like, just overall, like, I don't really care a whole lot about the, like, people's, like the American media is just, it's always bullshit. Like, I mean, like, it's the same thing. A stop clock is right twice a day. It's not a big deal. But just overall, it's just kind of, it's so weird for me to see people that, like, attach, like, they you know, get involved with, like, Tucker Carlson saying something, like, literally, like, I mean, this is just completely fucking irrelevant. This doesn't matter. Like, this has nothing to do with it. Like, Putin calling people a racist, who cares? Like, this has nothing to do with it. People are getting bombed. And it's just like the American media, this is what my opinion is, right? I've said this before, is I think media pushes a lot of these, like, racism, identity politics things. I think they push them a lot because they're very accessible to everybody. Everybody can have an opinion on these different identity issues because there's no real barrier to entry of knowledge to know about them. Meanwhile, if you're talking about geopolitics, people don't even understand where Ukraine is, so they're not as interested in it. So that's why you see Tucker Carlson, which, by the way, is one of the most popular shows on the media. That's why you see him always circle things back around to identity politics and things like this. And this is not something that only Tucker Carlson does. Like, MSNBC does this too. All of the places do this. I have to constantly say this because people will think that, oh, well, you just hate him, you know, fucking libtard or something like this. No, I'm not saying that. They all do this. And I think that they do it because it's accessible. It's the same reason. I'll give you, like, a couple more of examples. Like, look at movies nowadays. We have a lot more movies that are superhero movies because it's very easy to understand. Like, there's no complexities in them. There's no nuance to them. There's the good guys and the bad guys, and that's it. It's the same thing with, like, presidents. Whenever presidents give out speeches, if you look at the language and the education level that you learn that language in, the language that presidents use has gone down, and, like, now they use, like, a 7th or an 8th grade vocabulary, whereas previously they used, you know, like, a upper high school vocabulary. So this has happened all over the place, and I think that it's actually just because they're making things more accessible, and that's what they're trying to do, is that these types of issues like racism and, like, let me see what he said again.
Pandemic that wrecked my business and kept me...
The pandemic, right? Everybody has an opinion on COVID, even though nobody's a doctor. These are people that failed out of chemistry, you know, normal chemistry, not even AP chemistry, and they have an opinion on COVID.
Indoors for 2 years. Is he trying to snuff out Christianity?
What is this? This is, again, more identity stuff. It's, again, identity stuff.
Does
identity.
He eat dogs?
Because everybody has an opinion on Christianity. You see what I'm saying? Eating dogs. This is, again, like more emotional things, like eating dogs. Like, who cares if he's eating dogs or not? Like, I'm sorry. Like, maybe I'm a terrible person, but I just don't give a shit about that. I don't care if somebody eats a dog on the other side of the world. This is not a problem to me. Like, there's like so many other problems, like people starving in a fucking street. You're gonna worry about a dog on the other side of the world? Holy shit. Get yourself together. It's too much, man. It's way too fucking much. And so, yeah, eat dogs for all I care. I don't give a shit. Yeah, nobody cares about this. China causing a pandemic affecting American jobs, and the USA did nothing to punish China. Causing a pandemic, China caused the pandemic. I think that there are a lot of things that caused the pandemic, but I think that it's unfair to say that China caused it. Like, if it wouldn't have happened, it's like that goes down the rabbit hole. Is like, did China... Was it like actually contracted? Was it made in a lab? I don't really know. And the truth is, by the way, none of us really know. None of us really know. Like, we have no idea. We don't know what we're talking about, but everybody's going to say in chat, oh, I do. I know. I've read 5 articles on it. You don't know. You have no idea. So what I'm really trying to get at here is this. A lot of times, I think this is why these issues are pushed so much. And it's the same with the Nazis, right? Is that they're black and white issues that are very upsetting for people, and it's accessible. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Like the accessibility of identity politics versus geopolitics, and that's why it gets pushed so much? Yeah, and I think that's why they do it. That's why the show's so popular, is because anybody can watch it and anybody have an opinion on it. Find it hard to have to clarify and justify everything you say on stream precisely as your point, but people trying to look to attack you and your takes. It's people that disagree with what I'm saying and they're trying to intentionally misunderstand it. Yeah, the thing is, you can never explain something to a person who's trying to misunderstand you, because they will always win by losing. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Good news anchors, questions, not continuously stupid-ass questions. Like, I don't really give a shit, though. Like, the thing is, like, I don't care about Tucker Carlson. It doesn't matter. Like, before we had Tucker Carlson, we had Bill O'Reilly. It does have nothing to do with, like, these people are a product of society. It has nothing to do with who they are. Yeah, and then after Tucker Carlson retires, we'll have somebody else after that. And he'll be just the same. Yeah, so that's all I'm really trying to get at, and trying to get at product manufacturing consent. I don't know about that, but, like, just in general. Just because a bigger problem is there doesn't mean the smaller problem is unimportant. Just because a bigger problem is there doesn't mean a smaller problem is unimportant. Yeah, I'd agree with you there. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. But I think that the fixation on the smaller problems to try to eclipse and obfuscate the larger problems is what the issue is, right? Because, like, what he's really doing here, in my opinion, is he's using these smaller problems to obfuscate and to play down the bigger problems. Does that make sense? So, yeah, it's like prioritization. Exactly. Bill O'Reilly was better because he was entertaining, rageaholic. Well, people think Tucker Carlson is funny. I'm not going to get into, like, which one is better. I don't really care. Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. And Fox News Network, like CNN, have gone through sex scandals, executives on fear. Why do you even, like, what is the point of this? Like, why, like, what is this? Like, who are you talking to? Like, who are you talking to? Like, this is just, it's so weird. Stop crying about Ukraine and bet an island for any other country. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. One of the reasons why I voted for Obama is because I was hoping that he would end the war. Because I didn't like that. Like, I mean, I voted against that. So, like, what do you? It didn't happen. By the way, it didn't happen. But, like, that's why I voted for him. Yeah, because I was like, this is a waste of our fucking money. Classic Andy's back in chat. Yeah, there's just a lot of people that it's just people are just, they're so bogged down. And they're so far down the rabbit hole of their own propaganda that you can show them something, it will be directly in front of them, and they will somehow find a way for their cognitive dissonance in their mind to rationalize that it's not real. It is unbelievable for me to see this kind of stuff happen, man. The lack of protection people have is insane. I know it is, man. Like, it's just nuts. So much politics, bro. Hopefully your channel won't do politics anymore. Oh, I think it will. I think I'll talk about politics as much as I want because it's an interesting topic to me. And it's not really about the politics in general. I want to make sure that's very clear. It's not really about the politics in general as much as it is about like kind of the psychology behind the politics. And I think that's what's really the most interesting to me. I don't really care about the individual events as much as I care about how they are a metaphor for how people think. Because that's what I really care about is how people think and how the way of thinking manifests itself in society. That's what I find very interesting, and that's what I like talking about. I think most of the people that don't like hearing me talk about politics, if you look at their logs, actually what they don't like is my opinion on politics. So I don't really take anybody's criticism very seriously at all, and I think most of the people that give me feedback like that are just fucking morons. And so you can rest assured that any opinion like that you have, if you give it to me, it will be promptly returned back to the garbage can. I don't care. Because it's my opinion, and I'm going to talk about and do what I want. This used to be a gaming channel. No, it's not. This was never a gaming channel. If you actually thought this was a gaming channel, you were fucking delusional. Like, for years, McConnell and I used to sit in the garrison and talk about politics until 5 in the morning. This never happened. This was always a bullshit channel. It was always a bullshit channel. Like, yes, obviously we play games sometimes, for sure, but it's always been a bullshit channel. That's what we've done for years. Yeah, it's never been a game channel. And then after that, all I would do is react to videos some days. I would do the Welfare Wednesdays. I'd do that all fucking day, man. This is all I do. I just talk about different stuff. Why is this chat so weird about politics? It's because they disagree with what I'm saying. That's all. They just disagree with what I'm saying. And I actually think it's that simple. I legitimately think that it's that simple. There are a handful of people that just don't want to hear politics because they come on Twitch to not hear about that, etc. But I think that if you watch my channel, you'd know that I've involved myself in many of these controversies over the years, and I will continue to do that. Yeah, that's it. And disagree aren't smart enough to appreciate the nuance. And we're watching political videos. People wondering why we're talking about politics. Yeah, I know. And that's what it is. And keep doing what you're doing. Oh, I will. I absolutely will. I just want people to understand that anybody who's criticizing me for that, I will just automatically assume that you're just mad because you disagree with me, and I won't take your opinion seriously. Like, that's, I just make sure you understand that. Like, I will just automatically write it off categorically. So it's like you might think to yourself, oh, that's not how I feel. I don't know, you know, that's the way it goes. You know, you're going to have exceptions, and that's the way it goes. And only speaking truth, I know. I feel like the reason why I keep talking about this stuff is because I feel like I am one of the only people who talk sense. Most people just talk bullshit all the time. Especially, I feel like people need to focus more on the problems that actually affect their lives or on the bullshit identity takes around the planet. Yeah, that's the whole reason. And let's see this. Are you and McConnell still friends? Yeah, what do you mean? Like, it's just, it's crazy why people say that. And what I think about funny about that, like, McConnell was literally on the stream yesterday, man. Yeah, it was on the stream fucking yesterday. That's all there was to it. Yeah, what do you mean? And Hassan Andy? Who's talking about Hassan? It's got nothing to do with Hassan. Why worry about improving the material conditions of people in my country whenever I can cry about trans people in CRT? I mean, there's a lot of big problems in the country, okay? I think that this is, in general, the way I feel. I think that people involve themselves, again, in these identity issues because everybody can have an opinion on them. But the fact is, there are big problems that I think everybody agrees on that just get ignored. They just constantly get ignored for, like, these, like, weird, like, identity wars. It's too much, man. Yeah. Let me read a few more, then I want to move on. And do you believe in hot dogs? Of course not. Yeah, of course not. Why would anybody believe in hot dogs? Opinion on Musk trying to buy all of Twitter. I guess I'll talk about that. Yeah, I didn't talk about that a whole lot. And what's worse, political Andes or classic Andes? They're the same thing. So listen, yeah, if you go back and you read their logs, let me tell you something. They're the same fucking thing. What do I think about Elon Musk buying Twitter? I'll talk about this really quickly. I think it will probably maybe improve Twitter. I have no idea. I mean, In my opinion, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I hope he buys it. I do. I hope he buys it because I think that social media needs a shake-up in general. And, you know, if he completely ruins it, then who cares? We'll just use the next one. Yeah, I think it just needs to shake up one way or another. And so, yeah, either way, a lot of people worry about the type of world that we're leaving. What's this here? How could Twitter possibly get worse? That's fucking true, too. Exactly. And as someone's watching too much Hassan, usually I stream all day, bro. I hardly ever even get to see Hassan stream because I'm streaming all fucking day until he streams like late at night and he's like playing games. But just overall, I think that a lot of people have like really strong opinions about stuff, and I actually think that this is what I've always been. I've always felt pretty strongly about. I think most people generally agree on most things. Like, I think that if you go and you get like 100 people together and there's not a camera on them, and it doesn't really matter which 100 people you get together, most of them will generally get along. I've seen this happen throughout my life, and I think that the internet portrays a much more radicalized and divided world than we really live in. Because normally, like, here's the thing, right? It's like that crazy lady at the bank talking about how she didn't want black people to handle her money. Like, nobody else was going apeshit about that, and the moment that she left, everybody just looked at each other and laughed. It's like, wow, she's crazy. And then they moved on. You know, nobody was, like, getting angry about this or screaming at her or trying to fight her. No, it's just okay, you know, somebody's off their rocker, and that's about it. And I think that that's one thing that people oftentimes forget online is that, you know, things are so emotionally elevated and things are just so far blown out of proportion that it doesn't resemble reality at all. Real people don't think like this. Real people don't act like this. Real people don't even believe this. This is a situation and a point of view that has only been achieved through extreme radicalization. That's it. And so that's generally what I think most people are like. I think there are a lot more similarities than people might believe. And always remember getting arguments when I'm chatting with my ex-girlfriend, but almost never IRL. Yeah, exactly. It's just, yeah, hardly ever happens. And what's the rest of these? I'm going to make sure I read all this stuff here. That's real life. Racism makes you look at people and wow, they're fucked. Yeah, people just think you're stupid. Like, that's what I've seen most of the time, yeah. Nobody has time to worry about other people unless they actually have time to spare and don't work. I don't know about that all the time. But, like, yeah, it is crazy to see how many people, like, I don't know why Hassan even needed to buy the house for $3 million. He lives rent-free in, like, so many people's fucking heads. This is insane. I'm not even talking about Hassan at all. Like, I didn't even bring up his name. And like, people just think they can't fucking help themselves but give their opinion on Hassan. And, oh, he's a communist, but he's got a lot of money. Oh, I can't believe he wants to kill people. Like, it's gonna put me in jail. Oh, my God. Why do you know this? Why do you know this? You clearly don't agree with him or like him. Why are you consuming content about him? Why are you thinking about him? What's wrong with you? Like, you're spending all your time thinking about a person that you don't like. This don't you see a problem with that? Doesn't that seem like an issue? I don't know. I think it does. Yeah, it's so weird, man. Seems like people need to just not watch them. Yeah, just don't watch if you don't like it, man. It's literally that fucking simple. Anyway, let's watch this video over here. There's a new scam going on, and I think I'm gonna watch this one. Oops, sorry, I fucked it up. Let me go ahead and open it back up again. We're gonna watch a few more videos, and then actually after we watch a few more videos, we're gonna watch a few more videos after that, and then after that, I might actually play some video games. That's generally what the plan is. I don't agree with not consuming content. I want to understand other perspectives. Yeah, sure, I think that's fine. But if you want to understand other people's perspectives, I think that I think that's a good thing. But I feel like most people don't actually want to understand other people's perspectives. Oh, there's new Earth 2 video, and I was gonna watch that one too. And they just want to tell people what they agree with or tell people what to think. That's all there is to it. So yeah, and 1% of the internet number rises a lot. 1% of the world, 75 million. Even though 9% gets along, it's still a lot. That's a good point. Yeah, we'll have large numbers. If I have, you know, like 1% of my chat's crazy, that's still hundreds of people. Absolutely. So yeah, we can go back and forth about this all day, and everything like that. But just overall, I think that the best thing to do is to. This is what I assume and this is what I try to think, is that people either want one of two things. They want what's best, what they believe is best, or they want what they believe is best for them. They're usually not actively malicious because they don't care about other people that much. They just want what they want. And that's it. And if you look at things through that perspective, everything else makes sense. Oh, wow, a bunch of rich people don't want taxes on rich people? I could have never expected that. That's all there is to it. It's just common sense. And then also a bunch of college students voting for Bernie who says he's going to get rid of college debt. Wow, how fucking convenient. Of course that's why they're doing it. Absolutely. People are going to vote for their best interests. It's not crazy to believe this. It's common sense. Oh, what's best for me and my community? Yeah, exactly. Okay, here we go. In Russia, you can be sentenced to 15 years in jail or a big fine. Large portion of your society just apathetic because we could change anything. Yeah, of course. I know that, man. I know. Like, if you're just a random Russian guy, like, it's not your fault, bro. Like, everybody knows that. And the people that don't are fucking morons.